I'm Ryan Green.
And I'm Zach Taylor.
And this is Commander Social. Welcome, everybody. This week, we are going to be talking about our origin story.
Yeah.
Because when you start a new story, that's the way to do it, right? If you're going to tell a story, start with the origin, right?
Yep. That's definitely how they've been doing it in the superhero movies lately.
Absolutely. And we all know the origin stories are the best. And so we're going to bring you the best this week. And we're going to talk about how we came to be Magic players and all kinds of other fun personal anecdotes. So everybody, thank you for watching and listening. We really appreciate you tuning in. Hope you're enjoying it. And if you do, please remember to hit that like button below and the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications if you want to know when we do new content, which will be weekly. Yeah, and don't forget to tell a friend. We'd really appreciate that too.
For sure.
Okay, so if you want to find us on Twitter to let us know what you thought about the episode or answer some questions or ask us some questions, you can find me on Twitter at Green Geek.
You can find me at Z4CK38, or you can find us together at Commander Social.
All right, so we're going to do a quick little... like a little short biography here and tell y'all a little bit about us. So like I said, I'm Ryan. I'm a proud papa of two. I've got a daughter and a son, and I'm a Magic player. Yep, and I've been playing Magic since 1994. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I was 15 at the time. So started pretty young and missed out on the first year. Man, if only I'd been around for like Alpha and Beta. Whew.
That would have been sweet.
But yeah, so I even played competitively for a long time. I drafted weekly for years and years and years. Went to like nearly every pre-release, starting from like Ice Age and going all the way through Time Spiral. I love a pre-release.
They are the best.
So Zach, what about you? What's your little biography here?
I've been playing Magic on and off since about the same time as you have, 1994.
1994 was a good year.
Yeah, it was. So, I've been playing on and off since then. I came back around 2013 or so. Back in the day, I did okay in the local scene. And then when I came back, I tried to grind standard and modern for a while, and then just realized EDH was the best.
And we believe that wholeheartedly here at Commander Social, for sure. And yeah, you know what? I should echo that too. I started playing Commander in 2013 as well, and we actually have kind of a shared origin story.
It's true.
Yeah. So, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. But before we do that, a little, we like to do here. I just want to know what's going on in your life, Zach.
Hey, not much, man. Got my pre-order in for Modern Horizons. I'm definitely excited to get that box in.
Oh, man. Modern Horizons looks so sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
This set is for us Commander players. Oh, my goodness.
It should be Commander Horizons. I've seen a bunch of people say that on Twitter. So got that going. And then today, a friend of mine came by. He's starting a barbecue food truck. It's called, Up and Smoke Barbecue here in Austin. It's a friend I've actually met playing Magic when I was grinding Standard, named John. And so, yeah, he came by and brought some of his barbecue for me to test and brought me a hat and a shirt. And, man, it was some good barbecue. I'm going to check out his truck when he opens it up.
Oh, man, I'm a little jealous because, here in Austin, Texas, we love our barbecue.
It's true.
And it's good here, too. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm really excited. And, also just food trucks are cool, right?
Yeah, I'd love to, just work at one. I think that'd be fun. So what about you, man? How's it been going?
All right. So usually for my personal life here, I'm going to do what's known as a #MTG dad moment and talk a little bit about my kids. Because when you're a parent, that's what you do. So this one's a pretty short one. It's about my daughter, Veronica. It was the other night. It was about a week ago. And, I was just singing some song, as you do.
Yeah.
Right. I think it was about a teddy bear taking a bath or something. And my 3-year-old daughter got so, upset with me. And these are the words she used. She's like, "Dad, you're making me frustrated." She got like this little divot here. And, she's like, "Those are just words. That's not a song." She really was not okay with the singing. And, I didn't take it too personally, but it was really funny to hear a 3-year-old say they're frustrated.
It's true. I mean, I think it's funny because, she said not the frustrated bit, but it's just words in the past. And the other day she was singing about something. I was like, "Hey," I was like, "I don't know if you know, but those are just words. It's not a song." And then she just kind of walked off. So, she's she knows a lot of big words.
All right. So we really want to give a huge shout out to somebody who helps us produce this show each and every week. His name is Mike Condon. He's an audio engineer, but he also produces, right? He helps us come up with ideas.
For sure.
He helps give us feedback. He refines us. He makes us better, and he makes this show better. And we appreciate you, Mike. So thank you very much.
He's a gentleman and a scholar.
Indeed, he is a Tolarian scholar, maybe.
Yeah, one day. So,
all right. So that is going to bring us into a little section we like to call
Commander Rules.
All right. Here at Commander Social, we like to take a deep dive sometimes into the rules of Magic and discuss them. And so what we do here on the Commander Rules section is we randomly generate one of the comprehensive rules, and I read it out here from my trusty phone, and Zach interprets it. So that's the plan here.
In layman's terms.
So this week's rule is Rule 309.2, and it says, playing cards remain in the command zone throughout the game. And actually, before we go through all of that, I'm going to talk a little bit about what a playing card is. So there's a commander variant called Plane Chase, and I'm going to read it here. Okay, so this is about Plane Chase. In addition to the normal game materials, each player needs a planar deck of at least 10 plane and/or phenomenon cards, and the game needs one planar die. No more than 2 cards in a planar deck can be phenomenon cards. Each card in a planar deck must have a different English name. See Rule 309 Planes and Rule 310 Phenomena.
So what if one's in like Spanish and one's in English? Can you have the same one?
Yes, as long as their English names are distinct.
What if they were the same in English?
Then it'd be the same card.
But what in Spanish?
I'm not sure, but okay. So anyway, so that's a Plane Chase variant. Zach, have you ever played the Plane Chase variant?
I haven't. I've wanted to for a long time. Actually, right when I started playing EDH, a guy from one of the stores was like telling me about it, and it sounded cool, but I just never have.
Well, you know what? We need to rectify that because I have a set of planar cards around here somewhere. I was going to use them as a prop here in this episode, but I couldn't find them.
Oh.
So that's what I was looking for earlier when you were like, hey, what are you doing back there? So anyway, Rule 309.2 says, playing cards remain in the command zone throughout the game, both while they're part of the planar deck and while they're face up. They're not permanents. They can't be cast. If a playing card would leave the command zone, it remains in the command zone. How does that hit you?
I mean, if the playing card leaves the command zone, it's still in the command zone, which I think means
it didn't leave.
It's always in the command zone.
The planar cards relegated to the command zone.
Yeah, it's like the spoon in Matrix. The Matrix. There is no spoon except there's always command zone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's there.
So this rule,
it's a flawed metaphor.
We randomly generate them, so there's really not a whole lot to discuss there. But I thought it was interesting that the planar deck actually exists in the command zone.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I thought it lived in the plane zone.
I would have thought that too, but the command zone is kind of like this catch-all.
Yeah,
right. Like we can just put a whole bunch of stuff in there. You know,
I like to hide things there.
What do you hide there?
I don't know. Counter spells,
keys.
Yeah. I've definitely lost my keys in the command zone.
The matching sock to one that you can't find the other one of?
Yes, that's true. I don't know if you know, but I treat socks as disposable.
So you make sure they're all the same so that when you lose one, it's okay?
Yeah, that's actually what I do. I have probably 50 little black socks.
All right. So that is going to move us on into our main topic, which is Zach and Ryan's origin story. All right, so this is my origin story. From the humble beginnings of a high school student, at a young age, I was bitten by a radioactive magic card. And it gave me the ability to sense what my opponents were thinking, as well as block creatures with flying. So,
was it that exact card?
Yeah, it was.
You saved it?
I did.
Nice.
This is a beta giant spider. So, yeah, this is actually I should tell that story here. So, when I first started playing Magic, I decided that I was going to collect one of every color of a card, and I was trying to decide between blue and green. And obviously, I decided to go with green. man, I wish I'd gone with blue. These days, blue is my favorite color of Magic. And all those Power 9 cards that aren't artifacts are blue cards.
Yeah,
so,
they are.
Would have turned out better for me, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. I've got, like a beta Force of Nature over there and a beta Berserk and an alpha, Elvish Archers, like all kinds of fun stuff. So it's pretty neat to go back and peruse through it. But yeah, that's my origin story. I was bitten by this game called Magic. So I first started playing in 1994, as we referenced earlier. I was 15 at the time, and one of my buddies, Jonathan, taught me how to play the game. And I kind of have been hooked ever since. It's such a great game. One interesting bit about the story here is that my dad learned to play Magic with us, right? And, at the time, we didn't really think anything of it.
Right.
But we later found out that my dad was learning to play to make sure that the game wasn't evil, right?
Going to eat your soul or something?
Yeah, he wanted to make sure, because back then, you have to understand, there was this panic around Dungeons and Dragons, and my parents wanted to make sure that that we weren't getting sucked into some sort of bad scene or whatever, right? So my dad learned to play with us, and actually he still plays. So
that's pretty cool.
Magic
with him.
Magic does have a universal appeal. But yeah, so that was it was pretty funny. Just my dad's like, oh, I'm the cool dad. I'm playing games with my kids, but he was going undercover. He was a bit of a spy.
Yeah.
But so let's see. Part of my origin story. What else? I used to get my parents to drop me off at a local bookstore, because that's where we played here in Austin. It was called Book Source, owned by a really nice man named Phil, who I still talk to every once in a while. A really nice guy.
Is that store still open?
No. Oh no. But yeah, it was. They had used books.
Nice.
It was a bookstore, and they just had a couple little glass counter spaces with Magic cards in there. And I still remember going in at a very young age, using my allowance to buy cards, and it's oh, look, Shivan Dragon. That's $5. Why would I pay $5 for a Mox? That's basically just a land.
Right.
Right? The Shivan Dragon, you could get bigger, it's flying, and it's 5/5.
Yeah.
It's huge. So, wish I knew then what I know now.
True story. I still slip Shivan Dragons under my roommate Brandon's pillow sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah, I've done that. I just leave them around for him sometimes. And I'm like, dude, you should put this in your deck. And he's like, nah. And I was like, no, for real, do it.
I'm going to see him pouring a bowl of cereal in the morning and come out of the cereal box.
I should put one in his protein powder.
There you go. Shivan Dragon, still irrelevant all these years later. So yeah, so what else? Okay, so, the Magic bug bit me pretty hard. And I played all throughout high school. We would get there early in the morning before school started and play games. I'd have my deck with me in my backpack. Basically your big giant nerd kind of situation. And I say that as a badge of honor, right? I think nerds are cool, but that's just me. So yeah, that's it. I dipped off a little bit in college. I had to focus down on that, and I was working and stuff, so I didn't get a chance to play Magic as much then. But after I graduated college, I got right back in. I was playing all the time, doing weekly booster drafts and stuff. So yeah, this game is it's a wonderful game. But enough about Ryan's origin story. Zach, let's hear yours.
All right. I started playing like I said, in 1994, like Ryan did. I was the tender age of 11. And the way that I got started playing was recruited by the CIA to be a young spy, at 11. That seems about right, And so they were like, yeah, we're going to teach you how to play cards and be really good so you can fit in.
So this is your Sydney Bristow story?
Yeah. It's more like my James Bond story, I feel like. My Sterling Archer story. Or my, I don't know. So, yeah. But, I kind of started out I used to read, a lot of fantasy type books, science fiction books. And I'd go to the store called Walden Books, which it was a chain back in the day in the mall. And behind the counter, they had all these Magic cards. I was like, huh, what are these cards? I was like, I don't know. And because I used to collect baseball cards, I'm like, I do like to collect things. So,
well, and here's the thing, right? Like back then, there was nothing like them, right? I mean, like there were like hero trading cards and stuff, like Marvel cards and stuff. But Magic cards just had this look that was so compelling, and they just like, I don't know, they just grabbed your attention and focus and just like pulled you in, right?
Yeah, like I remember just like looking through my cards and like looking at the art and like thinking about it, or thinking, like trying to memorize what they did. And I was like, oh, well, this could work with that, and this other thing could work with this. And, I loved that part of it. Like the art was a big deal for me, but my dad would like, take me and drop me off at the mall, and he'd drive a circle around the mall and he'd be like, here's $10. And, with $10 back then, you could get like 4 boosters or a starter. So I'd get like a revised starter one week. The next week, get some boosters of like Legends or the Dark or something like that. Fallen Empires for a little while. And the deal
only a very short while.
Yeah, that's true.
Fallen Empires.
Actually, Brandon, I bought some Fallen Empires packs like around when we started playing again, and it was just garbage.
Well, I mean, you can get a Fallen Empires pack for like 75 cents or something. Yeah, like they are super cheap.
Yeah, they are. But the deal with my dad was, it was like, you can get these cards, but don't tell your mom. So I like had to keep mine kind of hidden.
So did you like hide them like underneath your mattress?
No, I just had them in my backpack.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like my mom is the ultimate super spy, and she can find anything, but she didn't find the cards.
So you're saying that you were born to be a spy because okay, that makes sense.
Exactly. So I actually taught myself how to play, and played built 2 decks and just played against myself for the longest. And then somebody opened a card store in Lufkin where I lived, and this is a rural East Texas town, so like this was a big deal. And it was like this stucco building like that was attached to the bus stop. But I remember like my dad would drop me off, and I'd stay like for 4 or 5 hours and play a tournament, do a draft or something like that. And eventually, I started doing better in the locally and stuff. And my mom found out that I was like, when I'd be like, I have to go to a tournament on a Saturday, she'd be like, oh, and she found out I was playing, and it was pretty much fine. But I played until the end of the Urza's block. I think it's Urza's Destiny is the last set in that block.
Saga Legacy Destiny, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, I played till probably the beginning of 2000, because the summer of 2000 I moved to a town near Austin, and like no one played there.
I have a question about the shop. Was it exclusively a Magic shop, or were they like a comic book store?
So it was like a game store. Like they didn't sell comic books, but they had like D&D books, and they had other RPG books. I bought the Men in Black RPG book there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and definitely tried to play that. And like they had a case with singles and stuff, but I also played some other games. Like I played the Shadowrun card game.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I played the original Netrunner game there, and that was originally designed by Richard Garfield too.
That's true. Any Spellfire in your history?
No.
How about that Xena Warrior Princess card game?
I did play that actually.
Guilty.
I think the first card game I really played was the Star Wars CCG, the one by Decipher, the one that's still going, sort of. So yeah, that is my story of origin.
All right, so there you have it, audience. That is how Zach and Ryan became what you see before you.
Nope.
All right, and that is our individual origin stories, but you can't have an amazing duo without the story of how they came to be. And here on Commander Social, we're going to tell you that right now. So this is kind of going to continue the origin story, but a little bit later in time, and it's going to be about how we found each other.
Yep.
So I know you've got the first one here, so go ahead and kick it off.
So back in the day of, I don't remember what the year was, but we both played the World of Warcraft card game.
I want to say this is going to be around 2010.
That's what I'm thinking too. So we were both playing that, and I like found a shop in Austin to play this card game at, and then Ryan was already playing, and the one night they finally like I was inducted into the group because I was like invited to go to dinner afterwards. Right. Yeah.
Every week afterwards, we'd go to a restaurant in town called Trudy's, and the shop would end, and the tournament would be over, and we'd go get like some Mexican food.
Yep.
Or Tex-Mex, as we like to refer to it here in Austin.
Yeah, I'd always get the stuffed avocado.
I used to get the mini the Poquito chicken flaquitos.
Yeah,
which is
I remember that.
a fun thing to say.
So this first time we went, and it was pretty cool. And I was like, oh yeah, I feel like, these are new people that I've never met before. And they accidentally put Ryan and I's meals on the same check. Like them messing up the check was kind of a common occurrence.
Yeah, that did happen.
Yeah. So Ryan, I was like, well, we can get him to split. And Ryan's like, no, I'll get it. You just pay me back. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'll do that. And me, like, I'm trying to like, make new friends. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta pay this guy back. I gotta pay this guy back. So the next week, I got like $20, and I'm like, he's talking to somebody. Like I came up, I was like, hey Ryan. He's like, hey man, what's up? And I was like, hey man, I'm getting you back for dinner from last week. And he's like, oh, did I get your dinner last week? And I was like, yes.
I had completely forgotten.
Which, that's the thing that happens sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely my MO. It's like, okay, money is a thing, and I just don't really want to worry about it. And so, that's a week later. And so much happens in a week,
It's true.
And like, yeah, basically the way I remembered is you came up to me and you handed me $20. I was like, what is this for?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, and you were like, for dinner. I was like, oh, cool, thanks, And
yeah.
And actually, that whenever I do that for somebody, I'm like, you have to remember to tell me because I'm not going to remember.
It's true. So yeah, that was how we kind of first got started, like, talking and playing. And then, I don't know, a while later, maybe a year, maybe 6 months, I don't really remember. They would have these things called Darkmoon fairs.
Which if you're a World of Warcraft player, that's, it's a big event in the actual MMO. And they had a paper version, which, it's essentially pretty close to like a Magic Fest for Magic. And, people would travel for them. And this one's in Houston, right?
Yep, it was in Houston. So we rode up there with our friend, the Razor, whose name is actually also really Ryan.
Yeah, actually, I gave him the nickname.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, we can't have two Ryans. And there was another Ryan.
There was the third Ryan.
Yeah, there was a third Ryan. And so, we couldn't, do his last name because there was another person that had that same first name.
Yeah.
And so his initials were RSR. And I was like, okay, the Razor. And, I think the nickname eventually grew on him, but he did not like it.
Yeah.
At the first, because we, everybody would introduce him, be like, yeah, this is Zach and this is the Razor.
Yeah.
But that's a cool nickname.
Yeah.
If you ask me,
yeah, it's
I think
cool,
that's a great name.
Right. And from those nicknames, that's why a lot of times you'll hear me refer to Ryan as, hey, Ryan Green. Yes. It's always like, hey, Ryan Green. Or Ryan Green, I'll be telling something about, to my roommate, Brandon, I'm like, yeah, Ryan Green did this. Because that's just how we differentiated them. But
my nickname was just my whole name.
Right. So we rode up to Houston and, we just had fun. I remember we got lost, and that's when I learned Ryan's real nickname was Magellan.
I am navigationally challenged, shall we say. Not so great at that, but now we have smartphones.
Thankfully.
So my deficiencies have been covered. But yeah, I am definitely prone to getting lost, especially in places I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's why our trips together are all often fun, and we're thankful for, smartphone technology. But, we went and we played. Our good friend Calvin got second place in that tournament, which was fun. And yeah, we just had a good time. We spent the night. And honestly, those trips and even the Magic trips now aren't so much for a tournament, right? It's the fun hanging out afterwards that you do at the hotel.
Yeah, we were talking about Darkmoon Fair Houston, and I'm like, I don't remember the tournament. I remember the road trip, and I remember staying at the hotel and having fun and just palling around and telling jokes and bonding with my fellow people, and that is the experience, right? And
yeah, I agree.
It's why I love going to Magic Fest now, and why I'm really excited about going to Magic Fest Las Vegas. We are going to be there. The Commander Social Podcast.
Both of us.
Going to be at Vegas. So if you're going to be there, hit us up on Twitter and tell us about it. And we'd love to get in a game with you.
For sure. We're also going to go to a big seafood buffet if you want to come. It's my dream for Vegas. But yeah, that was just kind of, we started hanging out. That's how we kind of met and became friends. So next, we're going to talk about how, we kind of came back to Magic because we both, took fairly long hiatuses.
Oh, yeah. Mine was around 8 years or something like that. I mean, so here's the deal. So when I wasn't playing competitively, because, I did play competitively for a while, I still played kitchen table Magic pretty infrequently, right? Like I'd get together with my friends and we'd still play like 60 card random decks, and we would try all kinds of crazy different formats. And we played like a Rainbow Stairwell, and we played 250, which was
this is still Magic, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard of these variants.
Oh yeah, like Rainbow Stairwell is like your deck has like a specific land base, and then like in like for black spells you have like a 1 CMC all the way up to a 6 CMC.
Okay.
And then same with blue and white and green and red and artifact. So like you had exactly like what 6 1-drops, right?
Okay.
Like and 6 2-drops and 6 3-drops and all the way up. And you're like, oh, for my 6-drop slot, I'll play Kokusho, the Evening Star, in black, right?
Nice.
Like that. It was a fun format. It was a little variant, and but yeah, eventually we did find Commander, and that happened around 2013. I want to say like in August. Actually, fun fact, I went back through my emails and I found my very first order for a Commander deck. And but yeah, that's how I know that it happened in 2013. And actually, I started drafting again and getting new cards again, probably because of Commander, right? Like I started playing Commander around August of 2013, and wouldn't you know it, in 2014, I started like going to drafts again because I wanted to get new cards for my Commander decks. Yeah. Right. Like, so Commander really did bring me back into playing like drafts and pre-releases and like buying cards and getting back into the game. And so like my very first set when I came back to drafting again was Khans of Tarkir.
It was a good set.
Man, that was a great set.
Friendly fetches.
Yeah. And the funny part is like I still had all my fetches because I was playing during Onslaught.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, I just got them and I would trade them for other good Commander cards.
Nice.
So, all right. So, what about you? How did you come back and find your way to Commander?
So, I moved to Austin with my roommate, Brandon, in like, I don't know, I want to say around 2012-ish. And we played a bunch of different games because we were like, we can't go back to playing Magic. We're just going to start depositing our checks to Magic and start playing it.
That will happen.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it happens now.
Yeah. Like I have a specific budget for Magic cards now, but it, so we played, what did we play? We played the Netrunner living card game, played the Star Wars living card game. And finally one day, like we were going out to dinner and we were just like, hey, let's just buy some starter decks. What could it hurt? You're going to buy some like these Planeswalker starter decks and, it'll be fine. We'll just play those against each other and that'll satiate the hunger or whatever. So we played it and it was just like, what have we been doing with our lives? It's like, this game is so much fun. And like, we started playing and buying cards and planning. And that year, so around in like 2013, I went and spent spring break with a friend of mine in Houston who used to play semi-professionally and like sell cards and stuff. And I was helping him like play test for a Star Wars tournament. And I was telling him, I was getting back into Magic and stuff and getting some advice from him because he had played more recently. And he's like, man, you should look at this format called, it was called Elder Dragon Highlander at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And, I remember seeing this webpage, had all the rules. I was like, huh, that's pretty cool. So like I came back and I was like, hey, Ryan, have you heard of this thing called EDH? And he was like, yeah, man, I totally have. So
that is a true story.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess like we kind of found it independently.
Yeah.
And, I think eventually the World of Warcraft card game kind of like died off.
It did.
And it was like, okay, well, now we're definitely playing Magic again.
Yeah. Like what's going to fill that void? Magic.
Yeah. And so Commander is definitely where we landed. And I guess you and I like both went to a Theros pre-release.
Yeah. I remember you opened like a Stormbreath Dragon.
Yeah, that's right. I still have it. Nice. I don't play it very much. It's okay in EDH. It's not great.
It was great in Standard when, Theros was Standard, but yeah.
I should have traded it for value back then.
Right?
Yep.
I still have a playset too.
But yeah, so like, and that kind of like, that Theros was before Khans, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was the block before.
And I didn't play the other two sets. Like we kind of just like dipped our toe in, and then like these EDH things happened. And so why don't you tell the audience at home about our very first game of Commander together?
So I remember I came over and we were like, we were going to play something. And I remember Ryan had his like yellow box with all of his decks in it. And like, I didn't have a deck yet because I was like, I'm still trying to decide what I want to build. I don't know. And I was like, I knew Ryan was real good at the wild card game. So I assumed he was real good at the Magic. So I'll get some advice and we'll play. So Ryan, you played what, your Glissa deck? Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
And I borrowed a Riku deck. And I don't remember doing very much in that game. But I remember Ryan like playing like Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth and like Cabal Coffers and like,
oh yeah,
was it
Increasing Ambition, I think, yeah.
And that Liliana. And like, I just remember somehow he like made a bunch of mana and killed me. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is amazing. And I remember like maybe a week or so later, I was like buying some singles at one of the local game stores. And then like I came across that like an ultimate token for that Liliana. And I got that for you. Like I found that picture on my phone the other day.
Yeah, it's funny. I when we were like doing research for the show, I actually went to my email and I saw like Zach had sent me an email like, hey, here's the list for Urtai that I'm thinking about putting together.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yep.
But yeah, just like seeing like that communication from so many years ago that I just completely forgotten about.
Yep.
I don't know. It was a very big blast from the past.
For sure.
All right. So shall we go ahead and talk about our first commander decks now?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right. So we started talking about this earlier, but my very first commander deck was Glissa the Traitor. And funny thing, I actually have like part of it still here. This is not a whole commander deck.
That's like 80%.
But what you'll notice is like, you know, the cards are single sleeved still.
Yeah, I remember for a while you were against the double sleeving.
Yeah, I don't know. And now I like every new deck I definitely double sleeve. But
Same.
Like the funny thing is this deck, like it's been cannibalized, right? Like, you know, once you start playing EDH, you're like, oh, I want to build another deck. I want to like, it like really draws you in and gets its teeth into you. And so these are just kind of like the cards that aren't in it. Like this very pretty Yawgmoth's Will here, like that I took out and put in another deck or took it out to get signed or something like that.
Isn't that banned now or is that?
No, you're thinking Yawgmoth Bargain, yeah.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, like things like I've added new cards to it, like this Brood Butcher from Battle for Zendikar, which we'll talk about that a little bit later.
That was a good set.
But yeah, the deck had like things like Urza's Bauble and Hermit Druid because I was a very spiky player back then.
Oh man, when we see Dana in Vegas, Dana Roach, you should ask him about getting his Urza's Bauble signed.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds like something I should do. Like, but like, you know, like Phyrexian Tower was in the deck and this Decree of Pain, which is really Plague Win. Even then I loved Reliquary Tower.
I mean, who doesn't love having their hand filled close? There's a Beast Within. That's still a staple.
Yeah. Tainted Pact is in here. Cycling Tranquil Thicket. Another Mishra's Bauble. Cryptghast.
Was that an LED?
No.
Oh, okay.
No Lion's Eye Diamonds here. Kamal Fist of Kroza. Yeah, Overrun on a Stick.
Man.
Like just looking through this like kind of like brings me back. Ooh, Sheoldred the Whispering One. I won so many games with this card. Oh man, Overgrown Tomb.
Yeah.
Right? Putrefy. There's the Liliana the Dark Realms that you got me the emblem for. Super cool. Little crop rotation action there.
Oh, yeah, foil.
Yeah, you know, kind of part of the foiling out. Oh, man.
Wait, what's that? Was that from?
That's
Legacy?
Legacy, yep.
Yeah, that was the first set that had foils. I remember being like, oh, man. When they print foils, I was like, I'm going to have to get all foil cards now.
Like, oh, no.
I was like, another level of collecting.
Oh, no. Yeah, and actually, like, I talked about earlier in the episode, I have, like, one of all the black border green cards. I also have, like, one of all the foil green cards. And now that stopped when I left in Time Spiral. Like I kind of stopped doing that. But yeah, here's another favorite, Boundless Realms. This is 6 and a green for sorcery. Search your library for up to X basic land cards where X is the number of lands you control and then put them onto the battlefield tapped. Man, this card's great.
Wow. I need to put that in this ramp deck that I'm working on.
Got your Fauna Shaman. It's like survival of the fittest, like on a creature. Oh, a little Vampiric Tutor here. Oh, and there it is. Increasing Ambition. We talked about that. So I don't know. And then, yeah, the rest is basically lands back here. So, you know, it's funny. I built this deck 6 years ago and I still have like the husk of it together because I'm a bit of a deck hoarder.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. One of these days I'm going to like go through and like catalog all of my decks like digitally and then just take apart the ones I don't play.
That seems like a good thing to do.
Yeah, but that seems like a problem for future Ryan because that's going to take a long time. So, but yeah, that was like the stuff I was playing, like just green, good stuff with cheap artifacts and just powerful cards. And this deck was super consistent, which is why I don't play it anymore. It just always won the same way. Just tutored up Cabal Coffers and Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth and like Boundless Realms and just was like, sanguinate the table, right? So, Zach, why don't you tell the audience at home about your very first Commander deck?
Originally, I wanted to build like a mono blue Urtai Wizard of Depth deck. And because Urtai was like my favorite character from Weatherlight. Like Ryan tried to collect all the green cards. I tried to collect the entire Weatherlight set. And like I actually did. The only weird thing was like some of them were foreign cards. So but I still have most of it, I think. But
I gotta tell you, the new Captain Sisay from Modern Horizons, the Inca deck is gonna get built around that. I'm pretty sure. Probably both of us are gonna do that.
Yeah, I've definitely like looked at like Weatherlight crew decks online before, and they are kind of pricey. There's some pricey cards in those.
Well, I mean, but now, like, do you still have all the Weatherlight cards?
A lot of them.
Yeah, so you could totally do it. And like the new Sisay's 5 colors, so she can actually like lead the whole crew. And you can even have
she's 5 colors? I thought she was white.
She's white, but she has a 5 color activated ability.
Oh.
So her color identity is all 5 colors.
Yeah.
And so now you're like, and I can get like the old Weatherlight card and the new Weatherlight card.
Definitely have the old one.
Yeah, and you can even get like Volrath and like some of the other Vati Ildal and stuff. Like just like a total Vorthos deck that, is just fun. Like it'll just remind you of like days gone by.
What I think is hilarious, like somebody told me this the other day, you could you play both Crovaxes and they cancel each other out.
Oh, Crovax Ascended or something? Yeah. That's funny.
So I started, and then like I started looking at cards. I saw Ryan's deck. I was like, oh, Black has some stuff I like. And then I was like, how can I still play Urtai though? And then I came across like Urtai the Corrupted. I didn't even know that was a card. And I was like, okay. I was like, blue, black, white. I was like, yeah, I used to play black back in the day. I used to play blue back in the day. And I used to play them both together. I was like, yeah, I can add white. So like I made this list and I sent it to Ryan and I added this list and it's going to be in the show notes. And so this list is kind of nuts. It's 107 cards, not legal. It has 29 lands.
Yeah, almost 30.
Yeah.
Now back then though, while you're scrolling through the list, back then for people that are new to Commander, we had a mulligan called the Partial Paris Mulligan. And what would happen is you would draw your first hand of 7 and you'd keep like these 3 cards. I like these 3. I'll throw the 4 away and get back 4 new ones. And then after that, like 3 new ones and 2 new ones. Like, you'd always draw 1 less. But it made having less lands in your deck totally viable. And we all did it. And I'm actually glad that it's the way it is now.
Yeah, I am too. I definitely have a lot of mana rocks here, it looks like. But yeah, this deck has just crazy stuff.
Oh, there's Liliana of the Dark Realms.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely put the Liliana, Cabal Coffers, and Urborg combo in here. There's definitely Exsanguinate. There's a bunch of stuff that like this deck ranges from like things that I would never touch again.
Like Drain Life?
Yeah, exactly. To things that I still play. Propaganda, Bitter Blossom, Time Warp. I love that Time Warp. Taking more turns. I still play Expropriate, Cabal Coffers, and Urborg. So yeah, that's definitely most of my deck. And this deck was built before I think before I know I didn't really understand like how EDH was like supposed to work, right? It's supposed to be like random and it's supposed to be like fun and not like linear, like Ryan said his deck was. And that's how my deck was. It definitely had a lot of tutors in it and a lot of redundancy built in. And it's like, I have Demonic Tutor and Diabolic Tutor.
Oh man, look at that Dovescape.
Yeah, Dovescape. And like, I didn't really understand how that card worked. If I'm being honest, I still don't really understand. What's this do? It says for 3 and
3 Azorius hybrid manas.
For an enchantment, it says whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, counter that spell, that player creates X 1/1 white blue bird tokens. with flying, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. No, so I understand what it does now. That's just real annoying.
Yeah, basically creatures and that's it.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that I like Google searched up some like just annoying stuff to do, like combos and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that one combos pretty well with Guile. I think I see in your list there.
Yeah, there was definitely a combo there. I don't remember what it was. I don't even know what Guile does. Let's see. It is... Whoa, computer. Yeah. It's 3 blue for a 6/6 creature elemental incarnation. Guile can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. If a spell or ability you control would counter a spell, instead exile that spell and you may play that card without paying its mana cost. When Guile is put in the graveyard from anywhere, shuffle into its owner's library.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the way this works is that if they go to cast something, the Dovescape is going to counter.
Yeah.
Guile counters it and then plays it. And so you get to play it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lock.
Yeah, I see it now. I'm just like, man, yeah, I feel like I should put that in some of my other decks. I still have those cards.
Oh, man.
I think the reason I had so much trouble with it was I think I bought a foreign Guile because it was cheaper. So, like,
Sonic Boom.
So, and the way that I funded this deck is pretty funny, actually. When I got back from that trip, that spring break trip, I like bought a pack. Like Modern Masters had just come out, like the first one, and I opened a pack that had a foil sort of
Fire and Ice.
Ice, yeah.
I still remember you showing it to me.
Yeah, I sent you the text because when I opened it at the store, they were like, "Oh my gosh, that card's worth a bunch." And then my other rare was like Yoshimi, like the White Dragon, the Yoshimi Morningstar or something like that.
Yosei, the Morningstar. Yeah.
So I was like, "Yep, gonna eBay that sucker," which I kind of wish I hadn't, but.
Oh no! For the time, like I think it was a good decision, right? Because you got all the fun of playing this deck.
That's
right?
true.
And you know, as we're all about the fun in this format, right?
Yep.
And so, can you put a price tag on that? No, I don't think so.
No. And like, what's hilarious is this deck was definitely less than $200 when I initially built it. I definitely had some of the stuff already, but like now on Architect, it shows the price to be like $750, which just goes to show how much cards are going up.
Yeah, Magic cards are getting a lot more expensive these days.
They are.
They really are. Like you'll hear it. We'll talk about it in future episodes, and I'll just be like, "That card's how much now?"
Yeah, it's like, whoa. It's like EDH players driving up the prices.
But that's self-referential because we're part of it. We buy cards too,
for sure, all the time.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah. So what else do we have here? One last thing.
Oh yeah. My original Urtai that I bought, Ryan has, because last year Ryan went to Darkmoon Fair. I mean, not Darkmoon Fair. Yeah, he went to GP Houston and had one signed for me. And you know, I don't have that deck together anymore. I've built so many different iterations of this deck, trying to make it good but not like too powerful.
Well, and, you know, and here's the thing, like you are an Esper player through and through now.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that all started here with Urtai the Corrupted.
I think so. Yeah. It was definitely a thing that I was playing in Standard as well at that time.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. During Return to Ravnica Theros, like there was definitely a pretty sweet Esper deck.
All right. So the next bit is that's basically our Magic duo story there, right? The next bit is just going to be kind of like how we became so close, right? Because we were pretty casual acquaintances for a long time. Like when we were playing the World of Warcraft game, you know, weekly we would see each other and play cards and eat dinner, and that was about it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, some life events led to us being like unemployed for a little while, for like a good 3-month period,
something like that. Yeah.
And we really just we were both out of work at the same time.
Yep.
And, you know, during the day, other people do normal things like go to work.
Right.
And we were like,
what's up?
What's going on? And you would call me and we would just hang out.
Yep. And I remember I didn't have a car at the time, and you'd come pick me up and then we'd do something, talk about Magic.
Go get lunch.
Yeah.
Go visit the comic book store, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, there was just this intense period where we spent all this time together.
Yeah.
And, it just, there was so much that went on during that time.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that time, my wife was pregnant with my first child, right? And that was a scary time, you know, and it was like hard to not have a job. But, you know, like you helped me through it. And
you definitely helped me through that time too when I found mine.
And so, you know, I think that our friendship really like solidified there. And so it just made sense for us to do a podcast together.
Yeah. And now, like, you know, I'm over here like a few times a week.
Oh, at least like we probably have dinner like 3 times a week or something
like that.
And you know, what's great is my kids love Zach. When he comes over, they both like drop whatever they're doing or playing with and they come over and give him a hug.
They do.
And it's beautiful to see, man. It's really great.
Yeah. And I definitely love like hanging out with them. Like they're real cool kids.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's... Wait, is there one other thing we're going to talk about here?
Yeah. I like now, like, let's talk about how we play now, you know, how we get our games in. We definitely try to go up to our local game store, Mothership.
Yeah, huge shout out to Mothership.
Sure.
Love that store. Basically, it's our...
It's like our home.
It's our home, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So...
And actually, I should say, when we were out of work for that 3 months, like, we drafted like 2 or 3 times a week, like every week.
Yeah, that was when Battlefield Zendikar was out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if I remember that, that was fun. But yeah, now we have like a league where it's like some of Ryan's friends from back in the day, my roommate, some other people I know, and you know, we just get together and play cards. It used to be like an informal gathering of just like showing up one Saturday. You know, somebody'd start a text or something, and then like we're like, oh, well, let's try this. And you know, we've had seasons where we've started with like the Commander precons, and then just $100 budget decks. And this last season we did Brawl.
Yeah, and basically the way our league works is we play for points, and we meet about every other week.
Yeah,
and we usually play 2 games per session. Like so, every other week we play 2 games, and the Brawl one is over, and we're definitely kind of like in that waiting period where, I guess the Commander 2019 decks come out in August.
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna do another pre-con league with those, right?
Yep. And I think like with those coming out in August, and like Core Set 2020 coming out in like, I don't know, the beginning of July. Like it's gonna be like constant preview season from here on out.
Which I'm like totally hyped about,
I am too.
To be honest. Like preview season is the best time of year. It's so good.
I was excited to get up and like go to Scryfall and like see what's happening, what the new cards are. And like it's gonna be like that till the Commander thing, and then we're gonna be in Vegas. Like it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna go to sleep and then we're gonna wake up and it's gonna be Vegas time.
No.
But I think probably, you know what, like in between now and that the pre-con leagues in August, we're probably gonna still do some sort of like half league something. And I don't know, I've been hearing a lot about this Oathbreaker format.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe we should give that a try. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely want to try that. Like, it seems like a lot of fun. Like, I heard about it, I want to say a couple of months ago. Like, the organization that started was like they like friended me on Twitter or whatever. And I was like, oh, Oathbreaker, huh? I was like, a Planeswalker and a Commander spell you can cast over here. I was like, I could cast Cyclonic Rift so many times. I mean, I'm not going to, but like, I think that's what we're going to do. So that should be pretty fun.
But yeah, so all of you audience out there, if you are interested in hearing about some Oathbreaker and if we do a league about it, let us know
for sure.
Twitter. Let us know if you're interested in that, and if you are, we'll talk about it a little bit. So I think that pretty much brings us to the close to this inaugural episode of Commander Social.
Yeah.
So we would really love your feedback out there, audience. You know, you mean the world to us, and if you are enjoying it, please let us know. And I just want to say thank you for watching so much. And, you know, if you're still here and you haven't hit that like button already and that subscribe button, please do that.
For sure.
And you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Commander Social. Individually on Twitter, I'm at Green Geek.
And I'm at Z4CK38.
Right. So until next week, keep it social.